celebrity or something. What does celebrity mean? I can't understand. Do you understand that? I just don't understand it, you know? It does not mean you're just famous. Somebody. You are somebody of profound value, you know? We all are. But the child has to learn that. I absolutely think there should be an amazing review of education in other countries, but certainly we need to have a huge review, and we need to get people together to actually fight this, you know? For example, in Britain, everybody, young people have apathy and they don't really care for politics. It is utterly untrue. They just don't know politics. So therefore, we've partnered up with a very nice young organization run by young people that do political education. And we have been able to get credits for it, that the students that study this, they can get credits in school between 16 and 18. It is so successful, but there are not enough of those teachers. So I'm trying to find young people to learn from this main guy, Matteo, to actually, now we're doing Harrow School is doing, which is top of the scale, and in Croydon we have a dropout school. But both schools are extremely excited that there is somebody teaching them about what is politics. I don't mean party politics, nobody cares for that. What is politics? Politics is what you wear, what you do, how you do it, and campaigning, and you have rights and whatever. These are so important for young people to know. Even that little thing that they can capitalize on, even education department hasn't thought of that. That they can really capitalize on young people knowing about politics, yeah? But anyway, what I feel is we've got much more qualified people. We have a professor amongst us there, professor of anthropology and sociology from Egypt, and also a very wise woman, I forgot her name, Carrie? Yeah, and also a teacher here. I'm sure you have a lot more to say. I think what I have to say is more in my passion for holistic education rather than my little experience with students that I try to help. And also, as everybody here, whoever is a parent or a student maybe, they have something to say and we'd like to hear from you. But I feel that we have to teach our children that it's really important to be happy. It's more important to have love and relationships. It's more important to have understanding of the other, the person you don't know. Go and try to get to know that person than having a big job, you know. Really, happiness is nothing to do with that kind of success. Success is really having a nice family life, a nice social life, a nice understanding of the other. London, I must say, with all its faults, is one of the best places to see the world. So many people come from all over the world to study in London universities. So therefore, young people naturally learn. They learn more at university than at high school, you know, because they can see by experience, you know. They see the Chinese student, the way we are here in this, you know, but imagine all of these were students, you know. You will find in UCL, SOAS, you'll find it in King's College, you'll find it everywhere in especially London campuses. So therefore, that is a school of life, you know, school of life, really, understanding each other. And then you had so many campaigns, people trying to help Bangladesh floods and things like that, because they see people, they find out what's happening, and their altruistic nature comes out. Because all our children, they have a lot of goodness in them. It just has to be nurtured, you know, not brought to the. Having said that, we've got crazy people in England who go and fight in Syria, you know. It is something is wrong in our education system, but there's a lot of good in London. At least in London, I live in London, and there's a lot of goodwill people amongst each other, because they have a natural platform to meet people from all walks of life as well as from all countries of the world. So maybe a teacher can speak.
I'm Karen Dorland. I don't know if this is on. I'm from Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto. We too have done a lot in teaching. Here's my teacher voice. Character education. Yes, we have for each month. There's dwelling on that, and I totally I would love to see more of a holistic type of teaching in the schools. My concern, because I taught children from junior kindergarten up and into learning challenges, children with autism, things like that. And it just upsets me so much when I see the nutrition that the children have in there. And it has come around more. The more that both parents are working, the less time they seem to have. And these kids are either not eating in the morning or coming with garbage. I'm talking chips, pop, silly things like that. And then they're so tired out in 2 hours, or cranky, or can't get along with others. So I don't know how.
Can we educate?
I used to keep cereal bars in my drawer desk.
Yeah, that's one of my big concerns is the nutrition, because these children, no matter how well we teach, cannot take it in if they aren't feeling well themselves.
That's right.
Can I go on from there? I'm a nutritionist by profession.
Perfect.
And I'm a teacher. And I've been teaching home economics for some years. And I couldn't agree more with you. Pardon?
Can you tell us your name?
Kari Egge, I'm from Norway. And we have a constant changing education system. I won't even talk about it because it's related to politics. And, and I think that's the bad thing in education, that every new government would like to change the education system because they want to impart their value system into the growing population, not the population, but the generation, the young generation. They want to impart the politics, and I think that's totally wrong because there are certain basic values we share, everybody, and those are the important things. But to talk on the nutrition part, I couldn't agree more with you, because what has disappeared also in our system is the nutrition part. We had, not that I went to training for my teacher education more than 40 years ago, and it disappeared. At some point, the whole nutrition aspect disappeared because it wasn't important. At the same time, we had the introduction of the fast food. So fast food replaced what, as you say, they come with all the junk to school. And now it's coming back because people see the need for change. They also move from the fast food to more natural food, to all the good things. And they're more aware that also we have a problems of obese among children. And obesity comes from, it's a big problem in the West. It's a huge problem in Africa where I'm working. It's an enormous problem in Africa because of growing economies. People think that they should eat fancy, and fancy means fast. So you get every part of the natural diet is also dying out. But there's another thing I wanted, since you spoke from Canada. What impressed me, I was UNICEF representative in Iran for some years, and we introduced global education. And that's another aspect of education I think is missing a lot from the Western perspective. We forget that we're part of the world. Our children are part of the world. With the growing economies and the communication system, the social media, and all of this impacts on our children so much more than we want to believe. And with that comes the influence. Why on earth are we have also people who go to Syria to fight in IS from my country. Why? Because they are engaged through social media. They're recruited through social media, and they get connected, and then it's almost like Facebook is a recruitment base. So how can we use these platforms and these opportunities to go the other way, to say there are so many good things happening? For example, I like your human approach and the holistic approach to education, because we are talking about building whole people. And that we can't say bits and pieces. As I also say with the conventional rights of the child, you can't divide a child by the head, by the mouth, by the rest of the body. You have to look at the child as a holistic human being, and I think that's what we need to penetrate in education. Sorry for taking this.
Actually, I'm going to speak as a teacher in the university and also as a human being who has a dream. As a teacher of the university, I really focus with all my curriculum in making the people, making the students free from inside to accept the multicultural and to understand it critically. Because I combine between academic and spirituality. When we are talking about spirituality, then we are like flying in the air. We just spirituality means meditation, isolation, going afar from the world. But I understand spirituality as self-development, continuous self-development. And the continuous self-development means, at the same time, critical thinking. That I don't take something for granted or something for complete reality. There is no such an absolute reality. Even the beliefs, then when we take them as dogma, then they hinder our ability to be open to spirituality, to be open to receive from the higher source, whatever you call it. And then this is very important. So critical thinking as a professor at the university, so my concern is I focus on teaching my students how to have this kind of critical thinking. So I am trying to knock at the dogma and look at the knowledge as, as part of the history, not something that is, we cannot stop on the knowledge that has been articulated 100 years ago and say this is the real knowledge. We have always to understand that we know within the context of our social reality and our time. And then from that perspective, we even criticize ourselves, because then what we know today, what we know this day, what I know just this moment, tomorrow I may change it. And I have to be every day a new person. We don't have to lose that kind of wondering about what's going on. How can I change myself? That's something that I'm doing it by example, and I'm doing it through my teaching at the university. From the personal level, the dream of my life, and I think you both will help me, everybody here will help me, and in this dream, that it is without education, from the very beginning of children, then we are losing the future. I look at the children as the seeds that are going to grow and to be trees, to flourish, and to give the word. So we have, by nature, the old people, they are going to, we don't have to waste time about convincing